But let's start things off with the singles.
Yeah, so we have Waves of Blue by Majid Jordan. They're a little R&B, even though we don't like R&B title.
Neo-pop, let's say.
Yeah, neo-pop duo. Released a single earlier this week, and it's fun. It reminded me a little bit of like a mix of say Anderson .Paak and The Weeknd style, kind of playful tones with everything for Waves of Blue.
But I also kind of felt like a little bit of a chill wave kind of aspect to the production as well, kind of.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah,
because it's not too far of a stretch to say that.
The genre in question here takes a lot of different forms and sounds a lot of different ways. Like we've talked about how this year especially there are a lot of artists who are doing like neo-pop things, but it sounds very indie. As opposed to older, like traditional neo-pop, and by traditional neo-pop, I mean like from the late 2010s, which sounds very trappy.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So now you're seeing that shift in the paradigm of neo-pop into this more experimental indie side, which I am all for personally, you know, as an indie head. But it's a good track. I like it. Do you know if they're releasing an album this year?
I'm not sure off the top of my head, but I would not be surprised. That's how these things go.
I'd be down as that goes. So. Yeah. And then we've got a dual single of Garden, two singles from Dinosaur Jr. And this is their first released work in a few years now. So they were really popular in the 90s, had some good albums here, there, and they had some random stuff in the 2000s. But both of them are pretty solid rock tunes and stuff. Nothing too special. One of them, I think, is I Ran Away, which is the acoustic piece, I believe. Is actually very, very good. I like it. It's throwing it back to like that 90s sound, but updating it a little bit more so it doesn't sound too drowned out. Because we've had last year we had a lot of revivals of like older rock bands from the 70s and 80s making new music, which some were very, very good and some were kind of lackluster in the back end. So you had like Psychedelic Furs and a few others that made good albums. So, but I know Dinosaur Jr. making an album this year, and I'm looking forward to it. But I like both singles.
Yeah, I liked Garden quite a bit. It definitely harkens back to this 90s era of alternative rock. And maybe that's like my critique that maybe we'll have to see the rest of the album. Yeah. Like, how much of an evolution is it? Because we've had cases where these older bands come back and they aren't able to push it forward as much as we'd like them to. And then we've had cases where they are.
Yes.
So, we can never judge an album by just one or two singles.
But those two singles are good. We now want to see more and see what the entire LP is in its entirety.
For sure. Yeah. So I'll get into plugs right now.
Plug.
Yes. So a lot of Audioface things, a lot of other things that are moving parts, changing around more than usual in this plugs part, so pay close attention. First of all, our playlist 2021 AF. It is available and on right now on Spotify. You can get it in the podcast description or the video description. We are going to update that weekly with songs and things like that we like. Follow Audioface Pod on Twitter and Instagram to keep in contact with us as we're doing the show. And to just give us feedback. Make sure we're like doing it right, send us new music to listen to, etc. Bonus episodes. We've got a bonus episode coming up later this week on Caro Caro Bonito, where I talked to one of my friends about that. Caro Caro Bonito is going to be coming out with some new music and EP later this month, so we'll be ready for that as we usually are. And also check out our past bonus episodes totally free on Daft Punk, MF Doom, and the State of Music 2021, where we assess.
And I'm proud of all three of them.
Yeah, they're all very good episodes. We're proud of a lot of our episodes this year. Onto politics, there's Power Report. There's the panel episode that we did last week featuring the Derek Chauvin trial. We talked about some right-wingers like Stephen Crowder, Matt Gaetz, World News, more. It's such a fire show. I love it. Naturally, of course, I'm talking about it, but check it out at powerreport.world, available wherever you get podcasts, and especially if you can find Audioface as a podcast, you can find Power Report as a podcast. If you can find Audioface on video on YouTube, then it's also on YouTube. Power Report's on YouTube at youtube.com/Dan from the internet. And my Twitch stream, thank Dan, it's Friday. Source stream is going on like a half-month break thing. So from basically the next 2-3 Fridays or so in April, I won't be having a show. But obviously, I'll still be doing many more shows. There's Audioface, there's Power Report, all that stuff. And TDIF is set to return the first Friday of May, which I want to say is like the 9th or something. It's probably earlier than that, but I'm not off the top of my head. And so make sure you check that out and follow me at Dan from the Web on Twitter for all of those things. And lastly, a new thing. I've been meaning to do this for a while. This audio for this episode and other episodes in Syndicate 23 Networks, which is Power Report, has been mastered by Dead Music Productions. You can follow them on Instagram at deadmusic666. That's deadmusic666 on Insta.